Today, there's a few big things around the Nasdaq and the S&P 500 that led me to some big questions. And even though we're breaking down, as you can kind of see, potentially forming this kind of double top and pushing down, I'm going to tell you, I don't have overall like crazy confidence about this move. Okay, so when we look at what's happening to the naked eye, yeah, you were making higher lows, pushing up. And again, you know, here on the channel, if you watch my videos, fundamentally, I'm as bearish as it gets. Technically speaking, there's warning signs that potentially we could continue going up. Now you can see that we broke down today roughly around, pre-market, we started kind of breaking down a little bit, chopping, market opens, and then we push down, right? There's a 4-hour time frame. Going to the 2-hour, a little bit more clear, giving you a visual. You kind of had this nice pennant forming. It's still bullish pennant since it was for continuation, but you kind of broke to the downside. Now the question is, this is a false breakout or not? Now the biggest things here, I'm going to tell you here in a second. And this is the worrisome part. And I think you'll agree with me that there's a line of caution that needs to go into effect here. Before we get into that, I have to ask you to do two things. Consider liking and subscribing. Every single day I make videos for you here on the channel. Unbiased, straight to the point. I said yesterday I expected a little bit of an aggressive move coming in today, but be a little bit patient. Patience kind of paid off. Win, lose, draw, I tell you exactly how it went, what I expected, any trades throughout the day as well. I also want to let you know, right now we have a few spots available in Discord, overall 35 for the $30 tier, which is more cost effective for people. Also, if you're not going to be like messaging a lot in Discord, you get access to almost every single thing, except you can't message in most of the chats, just like the off topic, like it's like one chat if you need to ask a quick question, but that's it. The $60 tier is more for people that want to be actively involved, talking with the other traders and in the voice chat as well. You won't get access to that on the $30 tier, but that's where we're at now. Only 10 of those spots will be available, 25 available in the $30 tier. I think we've already got rid of like 20 other spots. So these probably will go pretty quick because I didn't even mention them yesterday, but let's get back into the video. So we can see where we're at here. Now the concern, like I said, I don't want to hold you up. If you want to leave after this, you can go ahead, but this is it. It's your volume. When we look at the volume here, 61 million. We talked about this yesterday, very minuscule yesterday, even less so today. So when I start to see a breakout in a direction on minuscule volume, deteriorating volume, it makes me question the level of confidence in that move. Okay, that's my personal opinion. So I'm very careful to not be FOMOing in anything yet, but there's a few things we have to take from this. Okay. Now, one, something that just got announced here in the after hours, if you don't know, Biden literally just came out, and I have it over here in commodities chat over here to show you from Discord because I just posted it in there. But you can see that Biden said the banking crisis is not over yet. Those are his words, not anyone else's. So again, very interesting that even if it was like a blip and he didn't mean to say it, very interesting that that's still out there, that we understand that that banking crisis and those concerns are not gone yet, right? Important to understand those are not just being swept underneath the rug. We don't just change our fundamental viewpoint, once a few good things happen, right? And I don't even know if it's really a good thing that banks are necessarily getting unlimited cash sent to them from the Fed. Take this up with, whoever you want, but that's my personal opinion. I don't know if that's really necessarily good news. So that's where we're at right now. Now, looking at ES going into here, this is a little bit more concerning here. ES, you've been performing pretty decent since the 24th. You had a really nice bounce from that massive level of support. I believe this is also on the 200 SMA as well. When you go to the daily, you can see you bounce off that as well. You're kind of in the middle of this range. ES looks not as bad. Okay. Before we were definitely lagging, we still are kind of behind on the Nasdaq, but ES has somewhat got a little bit of this rotation. I saw people commenting yesterday. Is there a quote unquote tech rotation happening? Now, typically I only follow and acknowledge rotations when we're looking at it from like a bullish market perspective. Okay. So if we're in a bull market and we have the Dow going up, ES and the Nasdaq, very frequently you'll see a rotation of money to where maybe tech will pull down and industrials will pop up like Caterpillar and Boeing and John Deere and some of the other companies, and then maybe it'll like slow down into energy, and you'll just see a kind of like a ripple effect going into all different sectors, and then even small caps, right? So we're seeing a little bit of that, but I'm cautious just because of a few things here. Like for instance, we'll come back to ES, but IWM. strange behavior here. IWM, you know, we were shorting this back up here, right? Like at 176, we shorted it. We got out around 171, right? Now you're pushing up. And then today, yeah, you're still kind of coming down, consolidating to the downside, but it's a little bit of a bull flag on top of the 90 MA here on the 2 hour. You don't look terrible, right? We have to acknowledge the good and the bad. So that's what I'm looking at this. It has me on my heels because I feel like you're almost at the point to where you're breaking trend on the Nasdaq, which has led us over the course of probably the past 3 months. And now we're at this point of we're seeing Nasdaq showing weakness, but some of the other indexes kind of holding up. Now, the concern here is that maybe we miss out on some profits, right? If we don't get in too quick. And you know my stance here on the channel is always just be patient. You're going to get an opportunity, right? Anytime we've been patient, it's only really paid off for the good and not for the bad. We never really lose money when we're patient, right? Maybe we miss out on some opportunity, but at the end of the day, we don't lose money out of our pockets. And the name of the game here is to reduce your risk and increase your reward opportunity. Now, right here, maybe we're not increasing our reward opportunity, but what we are doing is greatly reducing risk by not being hyper aggressive at this moment. Okay. Now, what's important to know as well, and going into some of these news articles and our actually news coming out this week, is we have PCE, which is on Friday, which I think is the most important. And then tomorrow, as you can see, we have some mortgage applications. The big thing is going to be pending home sales. Very interested in that. We saw how home sales did us this past week on Friday and Thursday. I think this could definitely roll over and be a decent thing. So we want to see if they beat expectations and want to see there's continued slowdown on home sales, okay? But so far, there's been a little bit of a pickup right there on that sector. Consumer credit also came out pretty decent today, just to let everyone know. But the big thing this week, in my opinion, is going to come down to PCE, so understand that. Going into what's happening here on the indexes, again, SPY, overly bearish. And these are other things I'm looking at, right? We've talked a lot about chain, but there's a lot of out of the money contracts right now, specifically in the chain. And actually, I don't normally do this, but I do want to bring up Thinkorswim, right? So I don't trade on Thinkorswim, but I do like their platform to look at the options chain, like showing you cues, right? And what I recommend looking at is like the monthly contracts specifically. So you look at something like March, but March's month is already passed, so the next one would be April. When you look at April, and shout out Cajun, I'm always going to shout out Cajun because Cajun is always lurking in Discord, finding the best option chains. So typically what you do to find whether a chain is bullish or bearish is you really look at that in the money positions, right? And open interest. And open interest is good on the call side. And we've been talking about this. And this is kind of rolled over to the bullish side since really the beginning of February, right? Now, what's interesting here is the number of out of the money contracts being established, open interest and volume, but it's on both sides. As you can see, you have it on the put side and the call side, but inherently I will say the call side is stronger because of the in the money positions there, right? That's just relatively more stronger, right? I was gonna say more strong. SPY, going into SPY, showing you what's happening here. And this is just a little bit deeper dive. And if you guys like this, leave a comment. I'll try to go over this more in depth with you guys if y'all like this. But on the SPYs, very interesting. You can see both, and you can get to go really calculate this out. Cajun, that's why I just don't have the time in the day to do talk to Discord, do Twitter, do lives here. And that's why Discord's awesome, because Cajun joined as a regular member 2 years ago, and now he's probably one of the top dogs in Discord. He's really helping out. You know, I'm not going to say as important as the old Jefe, but I'm going to say right now, he is a very influential factor. I would say top three, me, Cajun, J-Ream, the most important people in Discord, right? You know, everyone else is they're just slowly climbing the ladder, becoming better and better and better. But again, Cajun's a great example. If you join, you get moved up to this level, and Cajun doesn't really take any trades we mentioned, right? He's developed his own strategy. And so Cajun, we talk about this all the time, you can calculate the open interest. Again, it's siding with the calls, in favor of calls. You still have a lot of in the money on the put side as well. But when you look out of the money, it gets interesting. Now, granted, on the put side, we've kind of expected to get a lot on the put side, but look at this, the 385s, 80,000 in volume today with 125,000 open interest, 102,000 open interest on the 390s. But still, you come over to calls, and they're not as big in the out of the money ones, but it's still massive. 53,000, 41,000, 34. This is abnormal compared to the previous 3 to 4 months, right? We usually see this happening, 2 to 3 months down the chain, right? We mentioned a lot like last year in September, talking about December's chain, etc. And that's where we're at now. This is very interesting of a high expectation of a lot of volatility to come. And that's why I say when we get back to looking at the charts and looking at this options flow, this is Cheddar. The link is down below if you want to check them out. I love these guys. But you can see like the overall flow in VIX, again, more calls coming in here. So that's the concern here, is that you're at this really big inflection point. And when we look at, potentially more banks collapsing or, having to be bailed out, or what's happening with the debt ceiling, which no one's really talking about, right? There's a lot of underlying concerns. But also, too, there's a thought process of if the Fed gets, the rates where they want them to, and they hit the pause button, we could see a flash flooding of, buyers in the stock market, just like that. And I think we will. When they hit the pause button, I think we're going to have a really bullish influx move. And so that's where we're at right now. Even though we have all these concerns in the market, you have to acknowledge what big money is doing. And I know this is a lot different than most of my videos, so bear with me. And again, if you like this type of like breakdown, I'll try to do this more often. But again, shout out Cajun, killed it, love you, you're an awesome Discord member. But yeah, so that's where we're at now with IWM and everything there. So when we dig into this, there's more and more reason as we dig into this to be cautious, to be as cautious as possible, okay? Because we're still just trading in this range, right? This is that same range we were trading in, in February. You can even zoom out a little bit further, go back to the daily and really look here, right? We got stuck here in November and December. We topped out here. We pushed down. Like this is the same range over and over and over. So very interesting where we're at and where we're holding, right? And I would say from a technical viewpoint, I've never been more perplexed with the indecision in the market, right? I know I'm saying I've never been this bearish fundamentally, and from the technical viewpoint, it's pointing to it wants to continue to get love, continue to get upside, and it's just like, can this actually sustain this despite all the bad that's happening right now? Again, and so that's why I continue to say, day trading. If you're trying to day trade right now, the focus has got to be make my money, get out. Even today, giving you a personal look, trade I took, trade I'm in. I have a few of these left, right? I had to take some off just based on where we're at and based on how many contracts I had. But looking at Tesla, right? We mentioned Tesla yesterday, right? Tesla, J-Ream had, I got some as well with them, right? So we ended up getting Tesla, and you moved down right to that 187, 186 target. You actually went down a little bit deeper than it, and then you bounced up, right? So it's all about reactions to these levels. And so far, you're holding these levels because there's no real follow through on the broad market. And that's the concern right now for me. Is if you're like me, I prefer to have swing trades where I can put like a larger amount of capital, maybe sweat a little bit less on those positions and let them do the work for me and trust the work that I did as far as TA and due diligence, right? That's what's made me the most of my money over the past 3 months. But as of right now, really mid-March till now, you are on the edge of your seat because you're moving so sporadically, right? So you're not getting follow through, and we're seeing that based on volume here, okay? That's what you want to see, is that follow through volume. And that's the concern. So even today, I think I was up like at the top of the day, I was up like 2,000 on my contracts. And then I ended up just like trimming some at like 1,700, and then at the end of the day, I think what I have left, it's like it reduced down to like 200 what I have. I still made money. I'm still net positive, and the trade will not go red for me unless we gap up to like 194 tomorrow. But either way, that's where we're at right now. And it's just being able to identify what's happening and understanding the market, where you have your strength, where you can capitalize on it, and where you need to be cautious and be defensive. And I think right now, until you get that big decisive move, you got to be defensive. I can only say it so many times. And I think I try to promote as much transparency here as possible. So for me, the focus has shifted greatly to a defensive trading method right now. Okay. It's not over trading, not taking 10 trades a day, not taking even 3 trades a day for the most part, right? It's just sitting back and letting the market play out with what I want to see and what I want to see with the setups and having a trade plan. Today, I talked a little bit about having a trade plan in the live stream. And a lot of people were asking, a great question of like joining Discord. What do I need to have in order to make money with Discord? The idea is, and this is something that goes into that, the idea of joining a Discord, anyone's Discord, mine specifically, right? It should never be can I follow these trades? Can I make $500 a day or whatever amount of money every single day and be successful? I challenge people to identify your own methods. How can you improve on what you're doing? Where are your flaws in trading? How can I fix those to become successful on my own? You should not be aiming to join a Discord. You should not be aiming to join a group or find a mentor so they can hold your hand forever. That should not be the goal. That really isn't a mentor. That's someone that's sucking you in and never trying to let you go. Imagine if I took my son, I taught him only things that he had to rely on me forever. And then when he turned 18, I was like, look, you're going to stay with me forever. You're going to have a family. You're going to live with me until I die, right? No, that would be selfish, right? I'm trying to teach him so one day he can go on his own and he can thrive. That's ultimately the goal. Now, obviously, I don't love you as much as my son. I would throw you to the wolves before I ever had a pick between you or my son. So there's not a great comparison in the amount of commitment there, but you have to understand what the goal is. It's to get you out on your own. So when you're looking at that, the goal should always be of, do I have a plan to get to my successful point or to where I want to succeed? So when I'm joining a Discord, when I'm looking at watching videos every day, am I seeing the errors in my own trading? Even that's why I say you don't even need to join Discord. You really don't. That's totally like a luxury. You have all the tools here on YouTube, on Twitter, on the live streams. We do workshops for free as well. So you have those tools. It's just more of hand holding on the other side. So when you're looking at this, ask yourself, am I even putting forth the effort or even mapping out a plan to put forth the effort to fix my underlying issues? So when we're coming into trading and I say be defensive, and people are like, well, Tyler just doesn't want to take trades. I don't want to take trades. I don't want to take trades where I have a higher chance of trading into chop and losing money rather than what's been happening over the past 2 months of leading to immense success, right? That's just me. That's me personally. If you have questions about anything I just said, I would love to answer them. Twitter, on here, whatever you want to do, option drops. Really, our goal, like I said, over 2023, the goal is to provide as much free content as possible. That's the goal, right? It's to try to help you guys elevate the channel to the best possible content possible, creating more sources of content for you, whether it's shorts, more education on Twitter, educational videos every Saturday, everything, right? That's the goal here right now. So if you have questions, again, we can only help you guys if you ask questions. So again, ask down below. And again, if you have questions on certain things, maybe I can implement them in tomorrow's video, right? I can break down what's happening in the market and also give a little bit of education in every day's videos, kind of like I just did right there. Have a good one, traders. See you tomorrow.